Hey everyone, welcome back to another Dev Diary. This week I'm going to be showing you the Forester's Lodge, which is what I've been working on, and the Forester as well, including the Behaviour tree. The idea behind the Forester's Lodge is that you can place it somewhere away from your village, assign villagers to it who will then become foresters, and they will just cut down trees in the area and plant new ones if there isn't enough, and give your village a steady stream of wood that can be used to be turned into firewood or timber for building sites, etc. But the idea behind it is that you can just put it down, forget about it, and then just be confident enough that you'll have a steady stream of wood coming into your village. Cool, so let's go and take a look. So here I am placing the Forester's Lodge. The Forester's Lodge you really want to place far away from your town because the radius is quite large, so you need a lot of space to really plant and chop down trees. Currently you can assign 2 foresters to the Forester's Lodge. This is an effect I put in as well, which basically allows the player to select the building and highlight all the trees in the vicinity that will be affected by this lodge. So all these trees here will be cut down at some point for wood, and also this radius here is also where the foresters will plant new trees. The overlay outline effect as well also highlights the villagers that are assigned to this building. So these 2 villages here, they were both in colour while everything else was desaturated, as well as the trees, just to really give the player that kind of easy to identify way of looking at all the assets that are assigned to this building. The benefit to the Forester's Lodge is that you don't need to constantly spend time cutting down trees and have people unemployed or labourers to do that. You can basically place one of these lodges down out the way, assign some villagers to it, and then just leave it going. Those villagers will work day and night, just constantly tearing down trees for wood and planting new ones and letting those grow over time. You have multiple options on the lodge. You can have basically plant only if you really want to kind of kickstart a lodge. You can have chop only if you're desperate for wood and you just need the villagers to focus on chopping down wood quickly. And then there's the balanced mode, which it should be in the majority of the time. And whilst in balanced mode, the villagers will try and keep the amount of trees in that area to a certain amount, and they will flip-flop between chopping down and planting based on the age of the tree. The overlay system that I built, that you can see here, is actually really powerful for giving the player the information they need quickly, and it's also quite versatile in that it can be used in a number of different buildings as well. So you can use it, for example, in the Forester's Lodge, you can use it in the miner's hut, you can use it in the fisherman's hut, and you can change the radius, you can change which actors you want it to highlight, and it'll give the player that information quickly and visually, which is always good. So this is the behaviour tree for the forester. It's pretty simple. It's only really got 2 branches, one for chopping down the trees and one for planting trees. The handling of the resources, so when a tree is chopped down and the villager is given some wood, is now handled by the task system. That's handled in an external tree, and then once that's been delivered, we then re-enter this tree and restart the whole process again. Both the cutting and the planting behaviours are very similar. They both involve the villager moving to a location, performing what I call a job action, which is when a job has a sub-action. So for example, a blacksmith, the job would actually be going to the area where the weapons are made and performing that job, always in the same place, while a job action is something like forester's hut or the farmers, for example, where they actually go to their job building and then they are required to go to different parts of the world and perform different tasks. The only real difference between these 2 branches is that in the cut tree, we basically run the process, and when it's complete, we tell that tree to fall down and give the resources to the villager, while in the plant tree, we do the opposite and we actually tell the world resource manager, which controls the trees and the rocks, etc., that you can mine, to add a new tree, add that to the array, and then save it. And then it will also start growing that tree as well. So that's how the Forester's Hut works. Other systems that I've been working on this week is the prop system, which you can see now. The prop system allows players to place down decorations and props, stuff that doesn't really have a purpose, it's just there to look good, but it can hold information such as idle points where villagers can go off to and rest, or it can hold lighting information, so for example torches which turn on at night. And players can place these where they want, they can overlap buildings, and it can really give that feeling of a play space that a player has created and it is unique to them. I got the inspiration from City Skylines because what players can build in that game is phenomenal, and it's all done by mods and allowing players just to really kind of customize the world to how they want. And the last system I've been working on this week is the building site. The building site actually replaces the building when you try and place it down in the world, and will designate an area where villagers have to come and bring resources. Once those resources are on site, then the construction of the building can actually begin, and that again also requires villagers. The more villagers you have, the faster the construction happens. And what this does, it allows the player to almost see like an evolution as they have their building sites and then they build up into buildings, but it really also offers a sense of urgency. So for example, in winter, if you have a lot of villagers who are homeless and freezing, you can no longer just place down a bunch of buildings and be done with it. You have to place down the building sites, the resources need bringing, and then they need constructing, which means you also need people who are free and not doing jobs. So you've really got to make a decision of what's more important and who can last. So the next features that I'm going to be building are the overflow system for resources. So this allows you to actually store more resources than you have room for, but they will go into an overflow. And those resources will degrade over time if they're not moved into the actual resource storage. And then the other system is the trait system. So each of your villagers can have traits. Those traits can be leveled up as well. So some of the traits might be, for example, being strong, being hardworking, being lazy, and they will actually affect how those villagers perform their jobs and tasks. So for example, someone who's strong will be a better blacksmith. You can level that trait up, you can then pass that on to or the villager can pass that on to their children as well, and really level that up. And then you want to try and really keep those villagers happy and healthy so they stay in your village, because if you lose them, you're going to lose that beneficial trait, and you're actually going to degrade in the amount of productivity you can kick out. So yeah, they should be coming in next week or two. So that's it for this week. Thanks again for tuning in, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Thank you.